Whew. All right, here we are, end of 2025. Yeah, so this will be my 2025 year in review. The third one in the series since I picked YouTube back up. Started it. I think I started doing these back in 2023. But yeah, just same as always. Went and watched the video from last year's year in review, and yeah, I've actually got notes from that, including what we accomplished this year that we didn't really account for, or didn't plan for. But yeah, so a couple points from last year, goals that I said I'd have for kind of the end of 24 to the end of 20, or beginning of through 2025. Yeah, so you guys already kind of know about the video I posted after that one if you guys watch all of the videos. But I know I said going to Japan, wanted to check out new places and kind of expand and not really make the same videos that I always have, which I'm pretty sure we were able to do that pretty well, considering we went to Kyoto, Osaka, Nagoya. I even checked out a bunch of other car stuff, which previous Japan trips I didn't do too much car stuff. I mean, I did the JDM experience with Elbow, thanks to Christian for inviting me on that one, which is also how I met Christian. To finding that Itasha car show, to the Japanese classics nostalgic show in Yokohama. And then, yeah, talking about getting the G running, you guys have already seen through the season, the G has been pretty, it's been bulletproof. Towards the end of the season, we ran into our issues, but can't really complain considering how much I beat on the car through the entire year. And it just, all I had to do to it, change the oil, go rip it again. And then cage. Got the cage done. It was a little bit of a fight to get it done, and I wish we got the cage put in earlier into the season and not necessarily mid-season for us. Cressida, sad to say, but haven't really made any progress, or not. Honestly, haven't really had time to work on it or touch it, even effort with that. And then the wagon, you guys saw at the beginning of the G35 rebuild video that I actually traded the wagon for a 1987 Celica GTS. It's 5-speed, 3S GTE, so it's pretty cool. However, I am still undecided if I want to keep the car or sell it and maybe get something else. The other goal I had for 2025 was trying to go into a grassroots competition, and yeah, couldn't really do that. Didn't really have the time or energy to try and do one of those, considering we still have yet to drive Evergreen. Second point of that was the G didn't get its cage until the beginning of August, end of July, so that was kind of a stopping point there. Other goal was for cleaning up and redecking the trailer. You guys saw one of my first videos back, or my first series of videos back home after Japan, was completely redoing that trailer. We even got a tire rack put on it and redecked the whole thing, painted it, kind of cleaned it up, made it look a lot better. Escalade. So I know I talked about getting the extended transpan and a transmission cooler. Transpan didn't happen. Cooler did, because we ended up having to put a new transmission into the Escalade. So kind of bummed on that one, but at least we know that the Escalade is going to be pretty much bulletproof, good to go from here on out. The Escalade does need a few things. My radio currently does not work, or at least doesn't put out any sound, so yeah, that's a fun one, and hopefully we can get to the bottom of that. Cool, now on to other accomplishments that I did not set as goals for the year. Finally made it down to Medford, drove Bash the Future, which was super sick, fun. Car kind of had some issues. It didn't break, but the intermittent throttle issue did come back at that event. Bummed on that one. Eli and I were able to get to the bottom of it and fix it, so car's good. We ended up driving Medford 3 times, and even at some of, honestly now they're pretty much close friends, Levi and Travis from Sacramento. We're planning to drive with them next year a bunch, and it's always a fun time when they're around, fun time driving. It's cool to have friends that you can drive really hard with and kind of crash into each other and no one's going to get upset. The other thing that we were able to do was actually take a trip out to Villains out in Walla Walla, go drive there. Still unsure if I want to go back to that track just because it's so small, and a lot of the things they have there we can do at other tracks. I also have a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth from there because I crashed the G at that event. So that kind of halted a lot of momentum for the end of the season for me. We had plans to go drive Evergreen, but due to that crash, and it kind of compounded because it was the crash and then finding out that the Escalade needed a new transmission kind of just put me off on everything. Other things that were done to the G that weren't planned for, like the camber arms and little things like that. Ended up putting a new clutch in the car at the beginning of the season because I think it was my first or second event out. Started smelling clutch, and Eli did a clutch in his car too. We kind of both made the decision of, hey, let's just replace our clutches now so we don't run into issues and have some catastrophic failure when we're at some of the bigger events, because we started driving more of the multi-day events down in Medford. We drove the Ridge and Shelton, and then ended up going down to Villains. Yeah, so new clutch. We decided to throw underglow on our cars after the first event at Medford, because if you guys don't know, Medford does allow night drifting. So super fun there. Which at the time of me recording this, y'all haven't seen it yet, but the G has a new exhaust. There's a new cold air intake in there, so no crappy, shitty cold air intake with leaks. Also, actually got new wheels. Kansei ended up hooking it up and giving me a massive discount to pretty much replace all of my drift spares. So I'm running the same wheels every time I need to change tires, no longer have to change lug nuts and stuff like that, and run kind of different sizes. And then, yeah, through the whole rebuild series, the purpose of the rebuild series was to completely overhaul essentially all of the hydraulics in the car. So there's a new steering rack in there because my rack started leaking. Clutch hydraulics went completely dead at Cold Winter Nights, which was our last Medford event. So all new clutch line, all slave, master, everything. And then same thing with the brakes. Steel braided lines for the brakes. Some more aggressive pads in the hydro, because now with us tandeming and driving with a bunch of people, I'm cooking my brakes. If that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know, but it's kind of sketchy when you're sending it and your brakes kind of don't work anymore just because they're so hot. Yeah, so I think that kind of does it for the 2025 recap. Now for goals running into 2026. So 2026 more than likely will be my final Japan trip for a little while. I'm deciding to kind of take a break, especially with where we're at with drifting. I kind of want to have more time for that than to go to Japan. Japan's cool and all, but this is my 4th trip coming up, and I'm getting a little bored. As fortunate as it is at that I'm allowed to go to Japan every single year for work, and just be there and experience it, enjoy the food, see all the cool places. Always grateful for that. Now, with me taking a break doesn't mean I can't ever go back to Japan. It's just, for now, I'm going to take a break and kind of just focus on stuff here back at home. So, yeah. Goal, which we kind of have planned, we were going to hit it this year, but Eli actually ended up getting sent on a work trip to Guam, which kind of hindered any of our plans past Cold Winter Nights, which that idea was to go down to LA and drive AVS. We would have been down there the weekend after New Year's to go drive AVS with Levi and Travis, the guys from Sacramento, but with the current situation, I've got some stuff to take care of back home in Texas, so I wouldn't be able to tow my car down. Now, if Eli was still here, if you guys didn't know or watch, I think the video that I just posted at the time of this recording, Eli has a 2-car gooseneck trailer now. So for a lot of the long distance events, I won't necessarily need to tow anymore, which will be super nice. I'll still drive the Escalade just so we have an extra vehicle when we're at like events like Medford and stuff like that. But the plan was for him to pretty much take my car down, and on my way back from Texas, I would just meet them in LA. We'd go drift for 2 days and then come home. But that's not happening. That plan's gonna have to get pushed off. So that is definitely a plan for 2026, I guess beginning of 27. Next thing, which I guess isn't necessarily a goal because I already have the materials, but wrapping the G and putting a livery on it. On top of the bumpers, little body kit pieces, just to kind of make it look cool, make it look a little nicer, because through most of the season, the car kind of looked like a missile. Next thing is just more Medford events, kind of already happening because I ended up buying a season pass, and what a season pass for Medford is I pretty much in bulk bought my admission to every single Medford event. Now, there are a couple that I'm going to have to miss because of my trip to Japan and or deciding to drive other events. Like, I think their Kansai event in August, I'm going to have to skip because we are going to end up going to drive the Ridge again, which, love the Ridge, super fun. Definitely want to get more tandem practice. It's always fun going there because a lot of our local friends will go. So, good to catch up with people and drive with them. And yeah, even though I just talked about, you know, how the trailer's good, the Escalade's good, it's got a new transmission, something I'm potentially looking at doing next year, but isn't a definitive next year, could be the year after, is getting a new truck. Or not really a new truck, but I want like an actual truck, something a little bigger, and or getting a new trailer. My trailer's nice and it does what it can do, or it kind of has done what I needed it to do up until this point, but I kind of want to upgrade into something a little bigger, something a little nicer. The G, because of the size of wheels I have on it now, barely fits on the trailer. And then here's another, I guess, soft goal, because it was kind of the goal I had for this season, is trying to do a comp, which Eli's thrown around the idea of us potentially trying to compete in the Medford series, which would be kind of cool, but at the same time, I'm still getting used to that track. Now, I guess this is kind of an announcement, but we are also more than likely no longer driving Spirit Peaks. Just because of the cost it's actually not that much more expensive for us to just go down to Medford and drift for 3 days rather than to spend a similar amount of money to go to Spirit and drive for a couple hours. Now, there's no hate on Spirit. I love the track. It's great. It's a really good starter track if you're trying to, you know, learn and stuff like that, or if you want to just go out, party with your friends for like an afternoon or for a day. Super fun. But with what we're trying to do, oh, sorry, it's just not feasible for us. I proved in the last video I can drive that track blind. We have so many laps on it, and yeah, so much time at that track that like there's not really much for us there anymore. Like, and I'm not saying that we're not going to pop out for an event or two randomly, maybe pop out for some of their cool ones, like maybe their 4th of July one, 8-6 day, stuff like that. But yeah, so we're actually, like, the guys down in Medford at Affinity Circuit, the Drift Evo guys, are super cool, super great. Track is awesome. They actually just posted a video, I believe last weekend, that they're going to be making a bunch of improvements to the track, which will definitely kind of improve the experience, and it's always a lot of fun. And with it kind of being halfway between us and Sacramento, Levi and Travis can drive with us a lot more. But yeah, so I guess stats for the season. So last year I did, I believe, 5 or 6 events, and most of those being Spirit events. Now this year we, or at least I, did 10 events, which is insane. And then if you even want to talk about it, majority of those 10 events were long distance, multi-day events. I mean, when we went down to Villains, that was 3 days. Bash to the Future, 3 days. Pumpkin Bash was only 2 days. Cold Winter Nights, 3 days. And then the Ridge is 2 days. So I'm not going to really break it down because I haven't really figured out that math yet. But that is a lot of drive time when you're talking about how many days each event was that we hit. And that doesn't mean that I didn't do you know, a lot of Spirit events. I think I still hit like 5 Spirit events. One of them I brought my parents out to, which is cool. My dad got to see me drift for the first time. And yeah, so kind of looking forward to, we're kind of going to slow things down a little bit, but at the same time stay at the same pace. So instead of hitting multiple Spirit Peaks events a month, we're just going to do one Medford event, at least that's planned for. One Medford event per month, which should kind of lower the cost of things just slightly. And then maybe if we're feeling it or something, go hit Spirit or something. Definitely got a plan to try and hit Evergreen at some point next season, because I want to get some seat time on that track. I have hit Evergreen before, but it was in the Cressida when I very first tried to start drifting and couldn't figure it out. So I look forward to trying to hit that track again in something that I have a lot more seat time in. I feel a lot more comfortable, and I feel experienced enough as a driver to, you know, not crash, even though this season I crashed the car. But I feel like this video is already pretty long. It's definitely longer than last year's, which we definitely did a lot more this year than we have in previous years. I mean, even if you want to compare it to when I did almost a whole car show season with the Cressida, this season of drifting was way more involved, had a lot more events, a lot more going on. Just, it's kind of cool. At least in my opinion, it's cool, it's fun. And yeah, I'm finally doing what I love, more or less. But with that being said, this video should hopefully be up before New Year's, and if it is or if it isn't, Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, and have a Happy New Year, and I will see you guys in Japan.